Hi and welcome to my channel. Thanks so much for clicking on this video. Today we are going to be making over this cute giant popsicle that I got at Hobby Lobby. So please hang around and let's go over all that we will need. So again, I got this at Hobby Lobby. Sorry guys, it's kind of big. So we need water, a paintbrush, some different sprinkles, some mint candies, some eyes, resin eyes I get off Amazon, some chalk for the cheeks, and some tacky glue, glitter, hot glue, circle cutters, some toothpick, and this rolling pin, and some more tiny circle cutters, some air dry foam clay. I get bows off of Amazon, and then a giant circle tip with some lightweight spackling. So I'm just going over this and covering it with spackling. You can leave it with the little balls on it, but I prefer a different look. So you can add a gingerbread on top of the way it is. That would be perfectly fine and cute, but I like it better with spackling. So that's why I'm just making this over. And I put spackling on, and then I dip my paintbrush in water and just kind of brush it along to help smooth it out. And then there's a couple little balls, so I'm just going to pick those off and remove those so you don't see those any longer. And I will do the back side of that later, but just for the video purposes and not a lot of room to work with such a big popsicle stick, I'm only doing the one side in the video. So now that it's all smoothed out, we are going to put and add some glitter to the spackling. And you can do as little or as much as you want, or skip that part altogether if you're not a fan of glitter. And then I'm just going to place sprinkles all throughout the white spackling. And just scattering the colors, and then I take a toothpick or whatever you have just to gently press down the sprinkles and the mint candies into the spackling so it adheres better. And then on this video, I didn't add a different bow, but you could swap out the bow or add more bows to it. Put a mint candy or some kind of candy in the middle of the bow. You could just do a bunch of different things. I am going to add a gingerbread to the top. This popsicle is big enough you could even add a family of gingerbread if you really wanted to. The sky's the limit. Just get creative. Okay, so now I'm going to take some of this brown air dry foam clay mixed with white just to lighten it up a little bit to make my gingerbread to go on the top. And I'm conditioning the clay and mixing it together. Just keep mixing it until you see no more white. And then I'm just taking the circle cutter and just kind of sizing it up to the top of the popsicle to see if I want it the size of circle that I want for the head of the gingerbread. And I'm realizing I need some more clay, so I'm just going to mix a little bit more and mix it all together and condition it. And see how there's some white there? Just keep stretching it and looking on all sides to make sure there's not white streaks, otherwise your little gingerbread's going to turn out a little bit funky. And then I'm just rolling a ball and smoothing it out, trying to get the cracks and stuff out. And then we're going to roll it out a little bit, and then we are going to cut out the circle, and this is going to be the gingerbread head that sits on the top of the popsicle. So now I'm going to take some white and I'm going to roll a snake so I can make the icing on the top of the gingerbread head. And while your clay is moist, your clay will adhere together so you don't have to worry about any glue. But if your clay has dried, then I would add tacky glue to help make it stick. Or Gorilla Glue is fine too. So now I'm going to size up which size resin eyes that I want to use. And again, I got these off Amazon. And then I place the eyes, and then I'm just going to press them down in to the clay. And then I'm going to take a toothpick and just give the gingerbread some little eyelashes on the side of the eyes. And when you do that, just press a little deeper, because as the air dry foam clay dries, it shrinks, and I've had it to where I didn't press it enough, and then it closed the area that I pressed and went away. So just make sure it's deep enough. And here I'm just rolling a circle out and adding it as a nose. If you wanted, you could use different color clay, like pink or red for the nose. And I'm taking the ball tool and made a mouth, and now taking the chalk and making rosy cheeks. And then we'll take a toothpick and put white paint on there, 3 little dots on each side of the cheek. And again, when you're pressing the mouth, just make sure it's a little bit bigger than what you want, because it will shrink down. Then I'm taking a toothpick and shoving it down on the top of the popsicle, and then putting the gingerbread head on the top of that. Now, for the sake of this, I'm sorry I went off camera with all this, but I cannot lay down the popsicle at this point because the air dry foam clay is wet and it'll deform the head, so don't do that. Let it sit upright till it dries, and then you can finish doing other things later if you want. And then the spackling, let it dry on one side before you do the other. It would make it easier for you. So now I'm just rolling out some arms, making 2 balls around the same size, and I'm just keep trying to roll it out to figure out which side looks best with the head that I made. Then we'll add white icing on that. And I did not do this in the video, but may add it later. You can have your gingerbread person that's at the top of the popsicle holding some kind of candy or cookie or donut, whatever you want. But I did not do that while I recorded this. So here I'm just going in a swervy little motion up and down to make the icing go around the arm. And again, the clay is moist, so it will adhere to the arm. And we're going to do the same thing here. Just do an up and down wavy motion, or you could just go around it. You don't have to do the wavy part, but I like that look. And now I'm just sticking it down behind the gingerbread head and into the spackling, and just pressing it down there a little bit so it will adhere nicely. And now I'm going to set that aside again. I can't lay it down. And now I'm going to make a bow out of pink air dry foam clay. And here I will attach it to the head. And again, the clay is moist, so it will adhere nicely. And I don't have to worry about getting the glue out. So now on this next part, I am going to add some sprinkles around the gingerbread where I didn't before, because I was going to be placing that on top. So then just fill it in where need be with sprinkles. And also the next part that I'm going to do, I did not finish because I needed the project to stand upright, and I needed to press this down in styrofoam. So I am adding tacky glue on the stick and then just putting sprinkles going down the popsicle stick. I didn't finish it on camera because, again, I needed to have it dry upright because the air dry foam clay was not dry yet, and that will distort the gingerbread head. So I would do that after that dries out in 24 hours. Just go back and do this part if you want to add sprinkles or candies to the popsicle stick. I think it just adds an element of cuteness and funness. So I did go ahead and do that. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a great day.